Well, hey, everyone, and welcome to our very first episode of the Winning in Ministry podcast, where we encourage and equip pastors and ministry leaders to thrive, not just survive, in their calling. My name is Tom.
And I'm Ray, and we're so glad you're tuning in today. This is going to be a great podcast. I'm looking forward to it. And since this is our very first show, we thought it would be helpful and handy to share the heart behind the podcast and the organization that launched it, Edify Leaders.
You're listening to the Winning in Ministry podcast, where members of the Edify Leaders ministry coaching team share insights and inspiration they have gained as they seek to strengthen ministers for exponential impact in life and ministry. And now, here are your hosts, Ray Sanders and Tom Matthew.
All right, so we're going to go with the origin story. Let's start at the very beginning. Edify Leaders.
Yeah.
Where did it begin? Where did it start? Why is it called Edify Leaders?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good question. Well, Tom, it's been several years now, but we were working in the corporate world, and we were doing executive coaching, strategic planning, leadership development in the corporate world. And we're seeing a lot of success. We were working with Fortune 500 companies. We were working with multi-million-dollar companies. And somewhere along the way, someone said, "Hey, I love what you're doing. Would you ever consider doing what you're doing among ministers?" And I said, it's not that I haven't thought that wouldn't be possible, but I'm just not so sure that ministers could afford what we do.
Mm-hmm.
It's very comprehensive.
Mm-hmm.
It's very involved, and we take what we do very seriously. We grow companies, we grow leadership teams. We come alongside these executives, helping them navigate the challenges they face in life, in work. And the guy was like, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what ministers are doing. They said this happens to be in ministry. I mean, if you think about it, they have a product. I'm not trying to take anything away from Jesus, but Jesus is the product. I mean, Jesus is the answer, right? It's what everybody needs.
Mm-hmm.
He's the real thing.
Mm-hmm.
They have a physical plan, more than likely. They have a quote, quote, retail location, if you will. They have quote, quote, customers, members, people in the community that they want to serve. And then they have a team. They have staff. Not every church has, but most do. They have a staff. And then they have this thing called the volunteer. And so as we talked about it, we began to explore and ask ourselves, okay, it's one idea to transfer what we've been doing from the corporate world into the ministry world, but is there a real need for it?
Mm-hmm.
And
first of all, though, it had to you were trying to, it took a minute to be able to translate what was happening there into the ministry world. Mm-hmm. But this person was able to help you see there's a lot of similarities that are here. There's
totally.
a lot. Yeah, there's a lot that's there that can translate. But then again, it's a matter of, okay, contextualizing it. What does that look like in the church world?
Exactly. And I was like, well, how's that going to apply? I think it's similar, but come on, it's ministers, it's mm-hmm. preachers, it's, and how does that compare to a hardcore business guy or woman? And the truth is, they're a lot alike. They're a lot alike. And so there were some guys that got behind it and said, yeah, we want to fund it. We want to launch it. But before we did, we thought, I'm going to go out and I'm going to talk to some pastors. I mean, we talked to a lot of pastors, and we asked basically 3 questions. And it was an in-person type of deal. And this is kind of how the conversation went over a cup of coffee. It's like, just be real with me. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. You've done something stupid. I mean, you're human too. Maybe you ended up in a ditch. Maybe you've gone someplace you shouldn't have gone. You've done so, and you're in jail, of all things. Yeah. You're in the ministry and you're in jail. Who are you going to call? And they looked at me like, oh man. Most of the guys that I would talk to like that, they're probably in another state. Am I going to call? I'd probably call my wife, but depending upon how stupid it is, she may not come and pick me up. Uh-huh. But it's like, it was obvious. They didn't really have an intimate friendship, somebody that they could get real with, kind of like what I said in the day. And we came up with this concept. We are the originator of the concept, like Jonathan was to David. Mm-hmm. This is something that we formed this idea that ministers need a friend like Jonathan. Mm-hmm. And so most of them, no, I don't have that. And then I said, okay, another question. You're running an organization, you have issues, you don't know everything. Who's the wise old owl? Who's the one with more gray in their beard than you that could talk to you about, man, let me draw from my knowledge, my life experience to pour into you? Is it another pastor? Is it a stud of a chairman of your deacon or your elders? Who is it? And again, honestly, Tom, it was around less than 20% in both of those questions. People had anybody they could name.
Wow.
That's eye-opening. But you think about it, where do ministers go?
Yeah.
Who do they talk to? I mean, are they going to, in the corporate world, we say, are you going to go home and talk to your wife? Are you going to talk to your stakeholders? You're going to talk to your shareholders? You're going to talk to your board members? When you talk to them, you risk exposing yourself. And in ministry, it's times 10. So where's the safe place? The place that you could go and just be real, kind of like you would with a counselor, kind of like you would with your CPA or a lawyer or your doctor even. Who would you go to? It was crickets, man. It was very limited. Some people have somebody that they went to seminary with or Bible college or somewhere else, but there weren't a lot.
Yeah.
And then we asked the last question. I said, we've got to do this. And I said, okay, apart from sermon prep, apart from doing a funeral, apart from doing a wedding, how is and there's a key word here, how is your walk with Jesus? And Tom, more than once, with tears in their eyes, ministers would say, you know what? It's become a job. What I'm doing has become a job. And there was a time that I had a personal devotion and I felt like I was walking with Jesus, but I've lost that presence. And so what we ended up referring that to, and like I said, we're the originators of this, is we call it the 3J model. We want to be a friend like Jonathan. We want to be a counselor, a wise counsel advisor like Jethro. And we want to come alongside you like the two brothers on the road to Emmaus and help you enrich your walk with Jesus, to recognize he's there with you. We could sense his presence. So that's how it got started. And then one other thing that came up as a part of the research, it was just at the time, Barna, the Barna Research Group, came out with a survey, the nationwide survey they had done, and it was around the COVID time period, somewhere in there. I can't remember exactly when. And they were finding that a really alarming number of pastors were leaving the ministry. And anybody who lived through COVID, you know what that was like, the added stress. It's like COVID revealed so much in the body of Christ in the church. And what it revealed was that our pastors are isolated, they're discouraged, they're lonely, they are they're burning out.
Yeah.
And anywhere from 30 to 50% had at least considered leaving the ministry. And we thought, okay, let's go back to these underwriters and say, hey, we think that we can do what we do in the corporate world. And so we launched it. And so at this point, we've served well over 200 ministers through the ministry of Edify Leaders. We've got anywhere from 13 coaches to more that are pouring their lives into people and just helping people navigate the challenges that they've found in life and work. And the good news is, because of wonderful people that believe in what we're doing, I still have my day job. I still do what I'm doing, but people are underwriting what we do. And because of that, ministers, pastors, people in the ministry are able to get executive leadership type coaching, growth strategy development at no cost. No cost to the minister and no cost to their ministry. And we're doing that in person. We're doing that online. It's all confidential. Everything that we do is confidential. It's one-on-one. We like to serve as a sounding board. We listen probably twice as much as we talk. And we just really help unpack those blind spots and help that minister navigate the challenges he or she is facing in life and ministry, because life affects work, life affects ministry, and ministry affects work. And so it works, or ministry affects life. It works both ways. And so that's what we're doing. We're unpacking all of that.
I want to dive into this a little bit, because I think it's important for everyone to kind of hear the struggles that ministers are facing. You hit on this a little bit, but I want to dive in a little bit more, because I believe there are those on the other end that could resonate with that. They may not even state it, but it could be underlying. And I think it's just important to kind of share that. And for others, it may be new. It could be something that they weren't aware of. So what would you say are the common struggles you hear from the ministry conversations that you're having?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I get that question from a lot of folks that are asking about what we're doing, whether or not it's somebody that wants to donate in order to fund it, or maybe it's a talk show host somewhere. There's something I want to say this right from the get go. 90% of the ministers that we work for, they're not down and out, long in the mouth, stressed out, about to quit.
Yeah.
Most of them are hardworking, pour their heart and soul into everything. One of the things that is so sad is that all the bad apples get all the news.
Yeah.
And there's no shortage of headlines on ministers that have had a moral failure, or ministers that have done something wrong or crooked, or we see a picture of them in an orange jumpsuit somewhere. And that tends to be what sticks in people's minds. But that's not where most hardworking, God-fearing ministers live. And here's the other thing. A lot of them are excited about what God's doing. They have thriving ministries.
Yeah.
They're seeing God do amazing things. But what we found is everybody can use encouragement.
Yep.
Everybody can use encouragement, and everybody can use accountability. And so that's what we're doing. We're coming alongside them, helping them navigate those challenges. And so therefore the challenges would be the struggles. And what are those struggles? Well, those struggles, it's no different than anybody listening, whether they're a minister or not. They have struggles in their marriage. Oh, but my pastor has struggles in his marriage. You better believe it. You mean to tell me my pastor's kids aren't perfect? Yeah, they've got trouble with their kids.
PK is not perfect kid.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. There's a lot of broken arrows out there, and we're going to talk about it eventually. But the truth is, they're struggling with challenges as well. Financially, most ministers are making a financial sacrifice to be in ministry. I don't know if you know or not, but a lot of them aren't taking vacations. A lot of them aren't doing some of the things that they want to do for their kids and their family, and it becomes very strenuous. And then they struggle with stronghold sins, whether it's pornography. Yeah, that's right. Your minister might be struggling with pornography, or they might struggle with a drinking problem, or they're self-medicating. Maybe their marriage is literally on the rocks, so the same issues when it comes to challenges and struggles, they're out there. But the great thing about what Edify Leaders does is that we are there to listen and share our life experiences. Our lineup of coaches, oh my word, these are seasoned guys and ladies that have been there. They've been in ministry. They've navigated those struggles and those challenges, and they have a lot to share. But you know what else they do? They have a caring, compassionate, and listening heart.
Yeah.
So that's the struggles.
Yep.
But there's another side of this.
Yeah.
Our pastors want to know how to grow.
Yeah. Right.
They want to know how to grow themselves. They want to know how to grow their marriage. They want to know how to grow their ministries. How do we reach our community? And I like to say it this way: our ministers are the X factors. And it's one thing to say, well, we just want healthy pastors that lead to, healthy churches, and healthy churches lead to healthy communities, and we change the world. Hey, I'm all about health.
Yep.
I'm all about health. But at Edify Leaders has put together a minister's manifesto, and man, people owe it to themselves to go to edifyleaders.org, go to that section on the website, find the minister's manifesto, hand it to your pastor. If you are a pastor or a minister, read it and realize that's what I'm called to do.
Yep.
I'm not here just to whine through my ministry and woe is me. No, we're raising up an army. We're raising up a movement of not just healthy, strong.
Yep.
Strong ministers,
Yep.
Ministers that are strong and ready for battle. And so we're coming alongside them, help them develop and encourage them to do those things with, that's right, unwavering encouragement, but fierce accountability.
Well, and I think that's what makes Edify Leaders unique. from other organizations, right? It's the approach. It's not, let's just barely get them over the hump, right? Hey,
I'm so
if we
lonely.
can
I'm
just
so lonely.
push them just a little bit.
Yeah.
No, we don't want them to just survive. We don't want them to just make it another day. We want to help them thrive for the long haul, so they're able to get to that finish line, right? And say, I've finished the race. So we're moving with the end in mind. We're not just trying to make it day to day, minute by minute. We're trying to say, hey, how can we come alongside? And I like what you said, Ray. There's a lot of listening that's involved. We're not, one of the things that we talk about when it comes to Edify Leaders is we don't just show up and we've got a template and we just take everybody through this process. We're led by the Holy Spirit. We prayerfully enter in, we listen, and allow the Holy Spirit to lead us and guide us in that moment, of which every single one of those are unique.
And here's the great thing about Edify Leaders. We're drawing from the arsenal of that commercial company. My commercial company is Ray Sanders Coaching Leaders. All those resources, Ray Sanders Coaching Leaders has given those to the ministry of Edify Leaders. And so it's not just that we're sitting around thinking about or spitballing what we're going to talk about.
That's good.
We have a whole arsenal, unlike any other ministry that I know of. In fact, a lot of other ministries are utilizing our resources for their ministries, and they're duplicating or even copycatting what we're doing. But we're the originator. We're the original. We've been around since 2009. We've been doing this type of thing for quite a while, and we do it in person, but those tools are out there. I mean, anybody listening, they can go to edifyleaders.org and they can see the tools that are out there. They're free. They're available. I love that. And that's the type of thing that we want to be known for, is making those type of things available. And that's what this podcast is about, quite frankly. What we're doing, if you're a minister that's out there thinking, oh, this sounds so great. Well, guess what? You can probably get coaching, but what we've done is we've taken from all of our coaches, we've said, what are the top 20, 21 topics that you're hearing? And we're going to take each one of those topics and we're going to bring in our coaches and we're going to talk about these issues, all kinds of issues, things like resting to be your best, you know, all sorts of things. What's it like to raise up children in the church? How do you overcome church hurt? I mean, there's just all kinds of things. Communication. We're going to unpack all those hot topics through the podcast. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I love it. Well, and just to hit on that, Ray, I think the beauty of Edify Leaders, again, it's Holy Spirit led, but we're coming with all these tools and resources. And so that's the thing. I'm not showing up to a coaching session and say, okay, we're on step number 15. Here's where we're going. I'm going, you talk, you share. Where are you at? All right, here's the tools that I have. Which one applies? And then taking that and contextualizing. And I think that's important, because I think too often you can go to a coach or someone and you're just following their plan and it may not be applicable right away. But what we're talking about is what we're saying right now, you can apply 5 minutes after we're done and put that in your, path.
If you're listening, don't miss what Tom's saying. And here's the differentiator. There are organizations out there and they have a kind of a regimen. It's almost like you're working through a textbook. Well, we're going to start here, and then next week we're going to do this, and we're going to go through the book, and then you're going to fill out a worksheet, and they're going to do this. It feels so impersonal. What we do is what's going on in your world. And then we're going to be there with you. We're going to try to apply the knowledge. And then if we have a tool, a resource that applies to that, we're going to pull it from the file cabinet. But we're not going through file cabinet A, B, C, D, Z, whatever. Here's the other thing, second thing that differentiates us. And quite frankly, this really drives me crazy. There are organizations that they say, we just want to ask good questions. And we want to ask questions to the point that the person figures it out. Can I just say something? If you're listening out there, I love you too much to let you wallow in your questions. And what we do, and we encourage our coaches to do, yes, be quiet, listen, help bring the horse to water. But if they don't get it, help them. Give them a little taste of the salt. Put some salt in the water. Help them. Give them the strategy. I'm a strategist at heart. I solve problem solver. I want to grow things. I'm not going to let you wallow in your misery. Can you imagine people going and spending time with a coach, and they're at their their second or their third time, and they're still talking about the same thing. And it's like, what do I need to do? and the coach is like, well, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to be very legalistic, and you just have to figure it out. I'm going to ask you enough questions, and you'll get there. Oh my word! Shoot me. Yeah. That is no way. I care about you too much. Yeah. I'm going to dig in with you. Yeah. And we're going to figure this out together. I don't have all the answers. Yeah. But between you and me and the Lord and all of our other resources, I bet you we can make a dent in helping you reach your full potential.
Well, I think about it this way. When you said that analogy, which a lot of people use, right? You can lead a horse to the water, but you can't force it to drink. But you can show it how to drink. Mm-hmm. You can be an example. Yeah. You can tell it what it needs to do. Yeah. Sure, you can't force it, but just taking it to the water and saying, "All right, I've brought you to the water. Yeah. I'm just going to leave." We don't do that, right?
Get out of the mud, bro. Get out of the mud. The water's over here.
Exactly. Come over here. Let me show you. Here's how I drink the water. Here's what you can do. Yeah. So I think that's very important is you listen, and from listening and hearing what they're saying, then you're coming up with strategies that, again, are contextual and that are readily applicable, right? So I don't want to tell them something that they can't do or they can't reach. Here's what you can apply right away so that you can start getting yourself moving forward. We're about progress. Totally. We're about moving forward.
Reaching your full potential.
Yep. I want you to hit on this, Ray, because I think this is important. The style of coaching. I like how you have kind of labeled it and kind of created a style or format for coaching that we like to talk about at Edify Leaders. You want to hit on that?
Well, here's the thing. I think that I would sum it up in one word. If you are going to be a part of the movement, if you're going to be a part of the Edify Leaders movement, and you're going to really fulfill the Minister's Manifesto, if you're going to get real with your coach, we have to have a hot relationship.
Hot. Okay.
H-O-T. Now, that sounds a little funny, and it even puts a smile on your face. But the truth is here, we want to be honest, open, and transparent. Yeah. If you can't be honest with your coach, he can't help you.
Yeah.
You got to get real.
It's good.
It's like going into the doctor. You don't tell the doctor, well, I think an aspirin will cover it. He says, no, bro, that's an all-out infection. I bend over, you're getting the penicillin shot. You got to be honest. What are you doing to get that infection? So you got to be honest. You have to be open. And that's a big one. Open to what? How about this? Being teachable. Open to being coached. A lot of ministers, a lot of CEOs, a lot of leaders, they're leaders for a reason. They've come up the ladder. They've learned. And sometimes it's a little bit humbling to think, oh, maybe I do have something to learn. One of the greatest pieces of advice that I can give someone is to be a lifelong learner. So be open. I had a pastor's wife challenge me one time because I don't have the same level of ministry in the pulpit pastoring. I got ministry experience, but not the same as some of our coaches. Some of our coaches at Edify Leaders are giants in preaching and in pastoring. That's not me. What I bring to the table is leadership in a growth mindset. Yep. And I had a pastor's wife say to me, why would my husband want to spend time with you? You've never been the senior pastor of a church. And I said, well, thank you very much, ma'am. You know what? You're right. I said, but here's what I know. How many of the pastors you know, whether they've been to seminary or Bible college, have ever had more than one class, maybe one class on leadership?
Yep, absolutely.
And I said, it's amazing to me. Now, we're starting to see more and more of it. There's our universities are beginning to do it, and I love it. And I can name them by name, but we won't. The leadership is becoming more obvious. You know, we just, you're a leader. Okay, thanks. What's that mean? What's it mean to be a leader?
Yep.
And so I said, I've spent my better part of my career teaching people how to be leaders and leading companies myself, hundreds of people in organizations, multi-million-dollar organizations. I have learned, and my track record proves that I'm not trying to be arrogant, but my track record proves I got a pretty good track record. I think I know how to lead. And I said, I'm not saying your husband doesn't know how to lead, but what's ironic is the greatest leader that ever lived was Jesus.
Yep.
But we don't unpack his leadership style.
Right.
And here's the thing that's interesting about that. Most people that talk about Jesus' leadership style, if you ask them, what was Jesus' leadership style? You know what they'll say? Well, Jesus was a servant leader.
Yeah, right.
You know what, Tom? They're not wrong. He was a servant leader, That's true, but that was the outcome.
Yes.
And so what is the role of the leader? The role of the leader, and guess who modeled that for us? Jesus. A lot of times when I ask people what's the role of the leader, they'll say, well, the role is to have vision. Number 2 is to lead. And number 3 is to be a servant leader. Those are the 3 that come up the most. And I say, that's great. Those are the outcome. But the real role of a leader, Jesus modeled for us in Matthew 28. He said, go and do what? Make disciples.
Right.
Is to
That's
duplicate yourself.
That's
and
good.
so the role of the leader is to duplicate yourself. But here's the thing, and this is where she starts to get it. Am I a leader worth duplicating? Hey, pastor's wife, you know what your husband's like at home. You're only as good as leader as you are at home. Do you want your pastor's staff and the people he's leading to duplicate his life? And she knows that he's not a perfect man. And now she's starting to think, maybe he does need some leadership coaching. and maybe I don't care that you're not at a senior pastor level. Maybe there's something that you can share with him. It's because what we see is Jesus says, is go and make disciples. And what's another word for that? Go and duplicate me.
Right.
And we see that in the life of Paul. Paul says, imitate me as I've imitated Christ.
Yep.
And so that's what we want, is we want a leader worth following, a leader worth duplicating, because leadership is not about position. Leadership is about influence. The one word that describes a leader is influence.
That's good.
And just because you have a position or a title, that doesn't make you a leader. What makes you a leader is influence.
Yep.
And so we have to be hot.
That's good.
We have to be in a position to where that pastor is open to that. Honest, open, and then transparent.
Yep.
And that's just another way. Honest is one thing.
Yep.
But transparent means I have nothing to hide.
Yep.
I'm honest, but now I'm going to give you all the story.
Yep.
Fully transparent, full disclosure.
Right.
Full disclosure. I can say, my wife and I aren't getting along.
Yep.
That's honest.
Right.
What's transparent? We haven't had sex in 3 months.
Got it.
Whoa. Did Ray just say that on a, yeah, because that's, you know what? You have pastors that are sleeping on couches. I think I might have an alcohol problem. Really? Well, how much are you drinking? Well, I'm not only drinking, I'm also taking prescription drugs, and I'm getting real. And I've been calling in sick on some Sundays because I'm wasted. That's transparency.
Right.
Hot, honest, open, and transparent. And so our whole deal here is to strengthen ministers.
Right.
I want people to hear that. We want to strengthen them. It's not just about being healthy. It's about being strong, because if minister is strong, the local church, the local ministry, it is the centerpiece, and that minister is leading the charge. He is the X factor for exponential impact.
That's good.
Think about it. You can give to a lot of things. I can give United Way. I can give to the American Red Cross. I can give to a lot of things. I can give the local church. But what if your local church doesn't have a healthy minister, a strong minister? Part of what Edify Leaders does is our appeal is help us keep ministers strong, because when he's strong, he's duplicatable. And then that leader will lead all the other ministries in the church.
That's good.
The soup kitchen, the adoption ministry, the ministry to senior adults. I mean, now it's exponential.
Right.
But take him out.
Right.
Take that strong leader out.
Yep.
Make it a weak leader. We've seen all of it. We've all seen weak leaders.
Yep.
And what's the result? Weakness.
Yep.
No power, no impact. And so we got to keep that leader strong.
I love that.
Keep that leader strong so it'll be exponential. And the good news is that we have people that come alongside us. That's something that, people aren't paying us, ministers aren't paying us, and we have donors, people out there that believe in what we do. Do we have enough of them, Tom? No, we don't have enough. The truth is, we could do so much more if it's just a matter of money.
The need is greater than the funds to support it. Yep.
And so the opportunity for people to give to something that has exponential impact is huge through Edify Leaders. And I'm not just saying that. I truly believe that. As a chairman of the board, I truly believe that from the bottom of my heart. The impact of our ministry, first and foremost, is probably weighed by our prayer and our calling on Lord to lead us. But it's also, we couldn't do this without people that believe in what we're doing.
No, I love it. Two things I want to hit on real fast. You talked about the approach is hot, honest, open,
Mhm.
transparent. And what that means is there's a vulnerability that's involved there. And vulnerability is not weakness. It actually it strengthens you,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
But the problem is with a lot of ministers, they don't have a space where they can be vulnerable.
Totally.
So they can't say the things that you talked about
Hmm.
with parishioners, with lay people, with people
Hmm.
in their small group. I
Hmm.
could even be a small group leader as a pastor or minister, but there's only a level of openness that I can get to.
Totally.
So when we're able to come alongside and have coaches that are there where we can say, no, no, we really tell
Hmm.
us everything, right? And we mean that. They are not used to it, but think about the healing that comes when they have a space where they can really lay it out all on the table. Because again, I love the illustration of going to the doctor. You know, if you don't tell the doctor all the symptoms that you have, then they're not going to be able to take care of you the way that you need to be taken care of.
Let's talk about the doctor for a minute, because I have clients that actually I have signed forms with their doctor, the HEPA forms, that I can know as much about them as they know about them
Ooh,
from their doctor. Why? Because they trust me so much that they want me to know what's going on in
that's
their
good.
life.
Hmm.
And so I have signed that I have that ability.
Yeah.
And so, but you know what else I know? You want to talk about doctors? I know of some ministers that are seeing psychologists in addition to me,
Mm.
and they are getting through deep depression.
Oh,
They are on antidepressants, and they don't stay on them necessarily, but that's the level. People, my pastor's on antidepressants. Yeah, he is, probably more than you know. And now, you ready for this? More than one. Did you hear what I said? More than one
mm,
minister has thanked me in saying this. If I hadn't met you, and if I hadn't had an opportunity to be a part of Edify Leaders, I don't know if I would be here.
mm.
Now, no, hear me. What I'm saying
That's
is,
good.
I mean, not in ministry. I'm talking about on the planet, gone.
Oh,
I'm talking
okay.
about suicidal. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm so ashamed of what I've done.
Mm,
I've had such a failure. I've been so stupid, or I just can't handle it anymore. I'm done. And with tears in their eyes, I remember saying, "Thank you." And that's not a thank you just to me. That's a thank you to all of the people that
that's good.
believe in what we do.
That's good. I love that. I love that. And I think all of our coaches, to some extent, have heard something along those lines.
Sure.
It's because you were there, because you stood in the gap, because you said I'd come alongside you. That's the reason I'm continuing to move
Hmm.
forward.
Hmm.
So there's a vulnerability component. And then something else that you hit on is the idea of donors. You know, one of the things is to do something like this again. This is not a burden to ministers. We want this to be a blessing, and we want to be able to reach as many ministers as we can through what we believe the Lord has put in our hands to steward and take care of. But what makes that possible is donors coming alongside and saying, hey, we'll take care of the costs associated with this. We'll take care of the coaching funds that are necessary to make this happen. And
Hmm.
so here's what I would just put out there. If you're listening and you know of someone that has that desire to come alongside and be a part of something like this. Maybe it's someone in your congregation, someone that you know, someone that you've heard of, that you know that this is something that they would be passionate about.
Hmm.
I would encourage you to let them
For
know.
sure.
Tell them to go to edifyleaders.org. We actually have a page specifically for people that are interested in being a part financially, giving and being a donor and being involved at that level. And so I would just put that out there is, hey, we want to continue this, but our mission is to reach more, and to reach more, that involves more funds. And we know, hey, that's available there. We just want to tap into all that's out there.
Here's the amazing thing. We used to really try to hide, not hide, we didn't necessarily, we kept it in strict confidence as to who we were serving.
Mm.
And you know what the pastors started saying, the ministers started saying? Can I say something? I'm like, would you want to? Are you kidding, man? Everybody needs to know about
Yep.
what Edify Leaders is doing in my life. And here's the thing: we serve as an accountability partner to them too. If I have a pastor in my life or a minister in my life, I want to know that they have somebody like Edify Leaders in their
Yep.
life that's fiercely holding them accountable. We
Yep.
don't mess around.
Yep.
We're, I don't want our pastors in the headlines.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And those guys that are in the headlines, I promise you,
Mm-hmm.
most of them are isolated.
Yeah.
If
Yep.
they got isolated, they got idle, and they wandered off into idolatry because they were not engage with somebody, helping them along the way.
Are you sure you're not a preacher?
All the
Isolated, idol leads to idolatry. I'm
Well,
telling you,
I'm-
there's a preacher inside of you, my friend.
I'm telling you, I've done my fair share of preaching, that's for sure.
Well,
But here's the other thing I'd
yeah.
say, just in line of that. I know we have it down to talk about, but so what's it cost? So what's it cost? What's it cost a donor? For as little as $100 a month, you can sponsor a pastor for a year. That gives them one-on-one confidential coaching for as little as $100 a month.
Yeah.
That's less than counseling.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yep.
Now, that doesn't mean everybody can afford $100, but guess what? We've had people who've given way more than that.
Yep.
I'm talking 100 and 1,000 times more than that. Do the math.
Yeah.
$100,000. We have people who $10,000, $20,000. You need more money to do this? I'm all behind you. And there's people out there who will be listening to this who have that capacity or know people who have that capacity.
Yep.
Let me tell you, our overhead is so low. We're at like 95% of it goes to the program. Like 5% goes to the website.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't even have technically an office that all of us meet at. We have an office downtown, and it's actually provided to us by a businessman. So we don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
I mean, and so our cost, if you want to talk about a ministry that uses every dime, every penny, this ministry does that. Yeah, we do some brochures from time to time, and we have a website that we have to keep up to date. But most of the money, the lion's share, I don't know the latest numbers. It's anywhere from 95 to, it's high.
Yeah.
Of every dollar goes to serve ministers in this capacity.
Yep. So let me ask you this, Ray. We've got the coaching that is Edify Leaders right there. And that's what we've been doing. You said it started in 2009 and it's only continued to grow. And when you go to the website, you can see the coaches that are on there. You can see what we're doing, but we're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
What is this about? Why are we doing a podcast?
We've done this for a while now, and there are these reoccurring themes, and we live in a day and age. Someone challenged me. Here's what motivated this. I had someone challenge me, and she said to me, "Ray, you're not stewarding your influence." And this is applied to me in a lot of ways.
And you do a lot, Ray. So to hear you're not stewarding your influence, you're going, I'm doing all this work. I'm doing everything.
Well, but stewarding doesn't mean that you're not doing a lot. It's how well are you doing it, right?
That's really good.
And so I had several things that I had been doing, and I'm continuing to do those things. And I appreciate you noticing. And my brain, it's just full of ideas and content. It's just the way that God designed me. But I'm not a solo artist. I like being in a band.
Yep.
I'm not a piano player. I'm the guy that wants to, share in the full orchestra. Well, in our coaches meetings, we began realizing these reoccurring themes, and I thought we need to capture that.
Yeah.
We need to capture those themes, and we need to. It's one thing we can meet one-on-one, and we can meet with 100+ pastors, and we can pour into them. And that there's nothing wrong with that. But why not take the things that we're talking about, put them into a podcast? And Tom, we will be taking that podcast and turning it into the Winning in Ministry book so that we can literally share it all around the world.
Yep.
And we're going to make it available.
Yep.
It'll probably be in an ebook, a PDF. We're not out to make money off this.
Yep.
Our goal is impact. We want strong ministers. And we think that we have 21 or so topics that we can make available through podcast, through written form, and through one-on-one in-person coaching.
Yeah, because here's the deal. At the end of the day, it's a matter of strengthening ministers around the world, helping ministers be all that they can be and all God has called them to be. So for us, it's not just limiting ourselves to one avenue. We recognize coaching, that's the main thrust of what we do. But now we're in a season where we're looking and saying, but that's not all. Like that's actually putting a lid. What can we do to take that lid off and expand what God has given us? And that's kind of the season that we're in. And the podcast, this is here. What else does God have? We're just continuing to lean into that and say, God, as you have different avenues and opportunities, our end goal is for there to be strong pastors and strong ministry leaders. That's our end goal.
And if I were going to take a biblical character and sum up that biblical character into Edify Leaders, it would be Barnabas.
Yeah.
At the
That's
end of the
good.
day,
I like that.
we're trying to encourage strength. We're trying to encourage people to be their best. We're trying to edify
Yep.
leaders.
That's in the name.
Well, that's what it's all about. We're trying to edify, don't grow weary from doing good. We're trying to edify every leader out there. We're trying to let them know, man, we believe in you. God believes in you.
Yep.
The people in your church believe in you. The people in your ministry believe in you. Keep up the good faith. Fight the good fight, and stick with it. We need you. We need you strong.
Yep.
Don't be embarrassed about, your strongholds. We're here for you. There is nothing at this point, doing this as long as I've done it, there is nothing that would make my mouth drop. I have heard it all. Between my commercial clients and my ministry clients, I have heard it all. And people go, really? No, really.
Yeah.
And that's what Edify Leaders is all about. Coming alongside ministers in life and ministry, helping them navigate the challenges that they face and helping them succeed. Dare I say, helping them win in ministry.
No, that's really good. And, Ray, I think one of the things that would be good to also mention is as we go into these upcoming episodes, you're going to be hearing from seasoned ministers. These are coaches that we have that are on our team, but these are seasoned ministers. I think when we calculated it, it's almost 300 years of experience is what it is, right? Everything from denominational leaders to pastoring large churches, small churches, rural, city. I mean, you've got the whole gamut that's there.
International pastors.
That's
we have
right.
an international
That's
pastor.
right.
We've got people with a background in youth ministry, singles ministry. We have a team that I am so proud of.
Yep.
People can see the team on our website. We have females, we have males, we have people with white skin, light skin, dark skin,
deeper tan,
sunburns. I mean, we got it all.
Well, and I think that's the beauty of it. We're showing even in our coaching team the diversity of ministers that are there,
right?
And it's, again, God's called us to reach Jerusalem, Judea, to the ends of the earth. And that's what we're doing. And we like to say we're behind the scenes of the frontline warriors, right? It. So we're not, that's what we want to do. And we're happy to serve and come alongside, and we want to continue that mission. And through this podcast, that is our prayer, that every listener on the other end, they're encouraged. We even called it Winning in Ministry, not the Barely Making It in Ministry podcast. All right.
Getting along.
Just Surviving Ministry podcast brought to you by, we want you to be winning in ministry. God's got incredible plans for you, and we want to be a part of fanning that flame so that you can be who God has called you to be. And so as we bring the plane in for a landing on this first episode, Ray, I'm excited about the journey.
It's going to be great. I owe a big credit to you for saying, let's do this. And it's going to be fun. I love being with you personally. It's going to be even more fun to help our coaches unpack all these great insights that they have to bring to our ministers.
Well, Ray, we are in for a ride. I love doing this with you. We're going to be on a great journey. And I want to invite those that are tuning into this first episode. Thank you, but we're just getting started. So join us for the ride. We'll be dropping episodes regularly so you can tune in and keep growing stronger. As well, on our website at edifyleaders.org. Make sure you check that out. We've got resources that are there. We've got tools to help you that you can tests you can take, resources brought to you by the Ray Sanders Coaching. And it's again, we're going to continually be putting content on there because our end goal is to help ministers win in ministry. So Edify Leaders, the Winning in Ministry podcast, that's what you can be a part of.
Here's what they need to do. They need to subscribe. They need to hit like. They need to share it with others. And all I will say is this, Tom, until next time, keep winning in ministry.
You've been listening to the Winning in Ministry podcast, made possible by Edify Leaders. Edify Leaders strengthens ministers for exponential impact. When ministers stay strong, ministries don't just survive, they thrive. Learn more about Edify Leaders at edifyleaders.org. Catch all of the Winning in Ministry podcast episodes on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. Subscribe today and share with your friends.